Welcome, listener, to 10 Wonderful Lessons from the Automatic Millionaire Homeowner by David Bach. Imagine turning your home into a wealth-building powerhouse, paving the way to financial freedom. In this journey, we'll explore Bach's simple, automatic system to transform renters into homeowners and homeowners into millionaires. Whether you're dreaming of your first home or aiming to grow your wealth, this book is your roadmap. Let's short dive in. The Power of Homeownership. David Bach, the best-selling author of The Automatic Millionaire, wrote this 2005 guide to make homeownership the cornerstone of your financial success. His core belief? Nothing you will ever do in your lifetime is likely to make you as much money as buying a home and living in it. Written during the early 2000s real estate boom, when home prices jumped 55% in 5 years to a median of $220,000, Bach's message is timeless. Owning a home is the smartest investment you'll ever make. Why? Because everyone needs a place to live. Why not let it build your wealth? Bach's system is about automation, making savings, mortgage payments, and wealth building effortless. He promises that in a few hours, you can learn to become an automatic millionaire homeowner, leveraging real estate to achieve financial independence, even on an ordinary income. The Martin story, a real-life success. Bach introduces John and Lucy Martin, a retired couple who became millionaires through homeownership. In their late 20s, living on a military base in Oakland, they saved for a $30,000 home in Walnut Creek. It wasn't perfect, but their realtor's advice stuck. Your first house helps you get your dream house. That home, now worth nearly $1 million, rents for $3,000 a month. Their second home, a $100,000 house with a pool, was funded by keeping the first as a rental. Using a bi-weekly mortgage payment plan, they paid it off early, saving thousands in interest. By the time their kids were in college, it was worth $500,000. They sold it for $650,000, bought a $750,000 dream house, and later sold it for $2 million, pocketing $500,000 tax-free. Now in Arizona, they own a golf course home and a 4-unit apartment building generating $90,000 yearly. Their secret? Automation, long-term thinking, and never overextending. Why homeownership wins. Bach explains why homeownership trumps renting. In 2003, the average renter's net worth was under $5,000, while the average homeowner's was $172,000, 34 times higher. Homeownership offers leverage, controlling a valuable asset with a small down payment, tax breaks, deductible mortgage interest, and tax-free profits up to $500,000 for couples, forced savings, equity builds with each payment, and appreciation. A $100,000 home in 1975 was worth over $400,000 by 2005. Renters, meanwhile, pay someone else's mortgage. Homeowners get rich, renters stay poor, Bach asserts. Overcoming barriers to buying. The biggest hurdle is the down payment, but Bach debunks the 20% myth. Programs like FHA loans require as little as 3 to 5% down, and some banks lend 100% of the home's cost. To save, Bach revisits his latte factor. Skipping a $10 daily expense saves $3,650 a year. Automate transfers to a home savings account for discipline-free saving. Even with bad credit or debt, first-time buyer programs make homeownership accessible, often with payments equal to rent. Navigating mortgages and real estate. Bach guides you through mortgages and home buying. Find a trusted mortgage advisor via referrals or the National Association of Mortgage Brokers to secure the best loan. Fixed rate for stability or adjustable for lower initial payments. With caution. Automate payments, ideally bi-weekly, to save thousands, e.g., $106,000 on a $200,000 loan, and pay off faster. When buying, work with a seasoned realtor, research neighborhoods, and avoid stretching beyond your budget. Bach prefers single-family homes over condos for better appreciation and flexibility, building wealth and protecting it. To become an automatic millionaire homeowner, live in your home, pay down the mortgage, and use equity to buy rental properties. Rentals generate passive income, amplifying wealth. Bach warns of market risks, recalling the 1980s California crash. To bubble-proof your plan, ensure you can afford your mortgage, lock in fixed rates, monitor local market trends, avoid flipping, and hold properties for at least 7 years to ride out cycles. Time in the market, not timing the market, is key. Giving back through homeownership. Bach ends with a call to help others. Support organizations like Habitat for Humanity, which builds homes for low-income families, or automate donations to charities like the Corporation for Supportive Housing. Bach donated $50,000 to Habitat and pledged 2006 royalties, launching the Great American Homeowner Challenge to inspire 10 million new homeowners. Sharing the book's lessons with a renter friend can change lives. The Automatic Millionaire Homeowner is a practical, inspiring guide to financial freedom through real estate. Bach's automated system, saving for a down payment, securing a mortgage, buying wisely, and investing in rentals, makes wealth accessible. While its 2005 optimism predates the 2008 crash, the principles of leverage, automation, and long-term ownership remain relevant in 2025. Whether you're a renter or homeowner, Bach's message is clear. Start today. As he says, your life is short. Live it rich. Here are 10 wonderful lessons and examples from the Automatic Millionaire Homeowner. Lesson number 1. Homeownership is the best investment. Buying and living in a home is likely the most lucrative investment you'll ever make, offering leverage, tax benefits, and appreciation. Imagine a single decision that could transform your financial future, setting you on a path to wealth and security. In The Automatic Millionaire Homeowner, David Bach declares that this decision is homeownership. Nothing you will ever do in your lifetime is likely to make you as much money as buying a home and living in it, he writes. But why is owning a home such a powerful investment? Let's explore this idea, weaving in real-life examples from Bach's book and diving into the reasons homeownership stands above all else. Picture John and Lucy Martin, a young couple in their late 20s, living on a military base in Oakland, California, in the 1960s. John, a modest earner, and Lucy, starting a family, weren't thinking about millions. But Lucy had a vision, owning a home. They scrimped, redirecting car payment savings to buy a $30,000 house in Walnut Creek, a small, fixer-upper in an up-and-coming area. It wasn't their dream home, but their realtor's words rang true. Your first house helps you get your dream house. Fast forward 35 years, and that humble home is worth nearly $1 million, rented out for $3,000 a month. The Martin story, shared with Bach during a book tour, embodies why homeownership is the ultimate investment. So, what makes homeownership so exceptional? Bach outlines 4 pillars. First, leverage. With a small down payment, say 10% on a $200,000 home, you control the entire asset. If the home doubles in value, your $20,000 investment yields $180,000 in profit. Compare that to stocks, where you typically need the full amount up front. Second, tax benefits. Mortgage interest is tax-deductible, reducing your taxable income, and up to $500,000 in profits, for couples, from selling your primary residence is tax-free, thanks to 1997 tax law changes. The Martins cashed in on this, selling their $750,000 dream house for $2 million and pocketing $500,000 tax-free. Third, forced savings. Every mortgage payment builds equity, unlike rent, which vanishes. Bach contrasts starkly. In 2003, the average renter's net worth was under $5,000, while the average homeowner's was $172,000, 34 times higher. Renters pay a landlord's mortgage. Homeowners build their own wealth. Fourth, appreciation. Homes typically grow in value. From 1975 to 2005, a $100,000 home ballooned to over $400,000 at 6% annual appreciation. The Martins' first home, bought for $30,000, appreciated to nearly $1 million, proving time in the market drives riches. Let's return to the Martins. Their second home, a $100,000 house with a pool, was a stretch but affordable. They kept their first home as a rental, using its income to pay down the new mortgage faster with a bi-weekly payment plan, saving thousands in interest. By the time their kids were in college, this home was worth $500,000. They sold it for $650,000, bought a $750,000 golf course mansion, and later sold it for $2 million. Now retired in Arizona, they own a golf course home and a 4-unit apartment building generating $90,000 yearly. Their secret? They lived in their homes, automated payments, and let appreciation and rentals amplify their wealth. Bach's own journey mirrors this. Inspired by the Martins, he bought 3 homes, increasing his net worth by $1 million in a decade. But it's not just about big wins. Bach emphasizes that homeownership works for ordinary people. A teacher he mentioned started with a condo and now owns 3 rentals, building passive income. Even in 2005's booming market, with median home prices at $220,000, Bach insisted it wasn't too late. As long as you're alive, you have to live somewhere, he writes. Unlike stocks, which crashed $6.9 trillion from 2000 to 2002, homes are both a necessity and an asset. Today, in 2025, homeownership faces challenges, higher prices and interest rates, but Bach's principles endure. Programs like FHA loans require just 3 to 5% down, and automation keeps you disciplined. The lesson? Start where you are. Your first home, like the Martins' $30,000 fixer-upper, could be your ticket to millions. Homeownership isn't just an investment. It's a lifestyle that builds wealth while you sleep. As Bach says, live it rich. Lesson number 2. Renters stay poor. Homeowners get rich. In 2003, homeowners were 34 times wealthier than renters, highlighting the financial gap renting creates. Imagine 2 paths. One where every monthly payment vanishes into someone else's pocket, and another where each payment builds your wealth. In the Automatic Millionaire Homeowner, David Bach lays out a stark truth. Renters stay poor. Homeowners get rich. This is lesson number 2 from his powerful guide to financial freedom through real estate. Backed by striking data and inspiring stories, Bach shows why renting keeps you trapped while owning a home unlocks a fortune. It's 2003, and Bach shares a jaw-dropping statistic. The average renter's net worth is under $5,000, while the average homeowner's is $172,000, 34 times higher. Why the gap? Renters pay a landlord's mortgage with no return. Homeowners, meanwhile, build equity with every payment, own an appreciating asset, and enjoy tax breaks. Bach's message is clear. Renting is like pouring money down a drain, while homeownership is a wealth-building machine. As long as you're alive, you have to live somewhere, he writes. Why not make that place work for you? Enter John and Lucy Martin, a couple Bach met during a book tour in San Jose. In their 60s, retired, and vibrant, they were living proof of lesson number 2. Back in the 1960s, the Martins were renters on a military base in Oakland, scraping by on John's modest military income. Lucy, tired of thinking poor, insisted they save for a home. They diverted car payment funds into a savings account and, after 2 years, bought a $30,000 house in Walnut Creek. It wasn't glamorous, but it was theirs. That decision changed everything. While their renter friends kept paying landlords, the Martins' mortgage payments built equity. Their home's value climbed, and by 2005, that $30,000 house was worth nearly $1 million, generating $3,000 a month in rent. They didn't stop there. Using equity from their first home, they bought a $100,000 house with a pool, keeping the first as a rental. With a bi-weekly payment plan, they paid it off early, saving thousands in interest. By the time their kids were in college, it was worth $500,000. They sold it for $650,000, bought a $750,000 golf course home, and later sold it for $2 million, pocketing $500,000 tax-free. Now in Arizona, they own a golf course home and a 4-unit apartment building producing $90,000 a year. Compare that to their renter peers, still stuck with minimal savings. The Martin story isn't unique. Bach shares another example, a teacher who started with a modest condo. While her renter colleagues spent paychecks on rent, she built equity. Over time, she used her home's value to buy 3 rental properties, creating passive income. Bach himself followed this path, buying 3 homes and boosting his net worth by $1 million in a decade. These stories show how homeownership turns ordinary earners into millionaires, while renters miss out on leverage, tax benefits, and appreciation. Let's break it down. Homeowners benefit from leverage. A $20,000 down payment on a $200,000 home lets you profit from its full appreciation. If it doubles, you gain $180,000 on a $20,000 investment. Renters? Zero gain. Homeowners get tax breaks, mortgage interest deductions, and up to $500,000 in tax-free profits when selling. Renters get no such perks. Homeowners enjoy appreciation. From 1975 to 2005, a $100,000 home grew to over $400,000. Renters see no asset growth. In 2005, with median home prices at $220,000, Bach urged renters to act, citing the 2000 to 2002 stock market crash that wiped out $6.9 trillion. Homes, he argued, are a safer, smarter bet. In 2025, renting remains a losing game. With median rents high and no equity to show, renters fall further behind. Homeownership isn't easy. Prices are steeper, but programs like FHA loans, 3 to 5% down, make it possible. The Martins started small, and so can you. Bach's challenge is urgent. Stop enriching landlords and start building your wealth. Your life is short, he says. Live it rich. Lesson number 3. Automate to win. Automate savings, mortgage payments, and investments to build wealth effortlessly, eliminating the need for discipline. Imagine a system that builds your wealth while you sleep, requiring no willpower or constant vigilance. In the Automatic Millionaire Homeowner, David Bach reveals this system in lesson number 3. Automate to win. By setting up automatic savings, mortgage payments, and investments, you can transform homeownership into a wealth-building powerhouse without the hassle of daily discipline. Bach's mantra is simple. Make your financial plan automatic, and success follows. Let's step back to the 1960s, where John and Lucy Martin, a young couple on a military base in Oakland, California, dreamed of owning a home. With John's modest military income, saving for a down payment felt daunting. But Lucy had a plan. She redirected funds they'd been spending on a car payment into an automatic savings account, ensuring a fixed amount was tucked away each month. No debates, no temptation, just steady progress. 2 years later, they bought a $30,000 house in Walnut Creek. That small, automated choice was the spark that lit their path to millions. Bach's philosophy is clear. Automation removes the human error from wealth building. In 2005, when median home prices hit $220,000, he urged readers to automate every step of homeownership. Start with the down payment. Bach's famous latte factor shows how skipping a $10 daily expense, like coffee or takeout, saves $3,650 a year. By setting up an automatic transfer to a home savings account, that money grows without you lifting a finger. The Martins did this, and it turned their renter's budget into a homeowner's reality. Once you own a home, automation supercharges your mortgage. Bach champions the bi-weekly payment plan, paying half your mortgage every 2 weeks instead of monthly. This results in 13 full payments a year, not 12, slashing interest and years off the loan. For a $200,000 mortgage at 6%, this saves $106,000 and cuts 7 years from the term. The Martins used this for their second home, a $100,000 house with a pool. By automating bi-weekly payments, they paid it off early, saving thousands. The rental income from their first home, also automated into a savings account, fueled this strategy, building equity faster than they imagined. The Martins' automation didn't stop there. When they sold their second home for $650,000, they used the profits to buy a $750,000 golf course mansion, automating extra payments from bonuses to reduce the principal. By 2005, that home sold for $2 million, yielding $500,000 tax-free. Now retired in Arizona, they own a 4-unit apartment building generating $90,000 annually, with rent payments automatically deposited. Their wealth grew not from constant effort, but from systems that worked in the background. Bach shares other examples. A teacher started with a condo, automating savings for the down payment, and setting up bi-weekly mortgage payments. She later used her home's equity to buy rentals, with tenants' rent automatically covering those mortgages. Bach himself automated his real estate journey, buying 3 homes and boosting his net worth by $1 million in a decade. Automation, he argues, is the great equalizer. It works whether you're a military family, a teacher, or an author. In 2025, automation is easier than ever. Online banking lets you set up transfers in minutes. Apps can divert small amounts daily to savings, echoing Bach's latte factor. Mortgage autopay ensures you never miss a payment, and bi-weekly plans are standard at many banks. Even in a pricier market, automation makes homeownership achievable. Bach's challenge is timeless. Your life is short. Live it rich. By automating to win, you turn your home into a wealth machine, just like the Martins did. Start today. Set up one automatic transfer and watch your future grow. Lesson number 4. Bi-weekly payments save big. Paying half your mortgage every 2 weeks can save $106,000 on a $200,000 loan and shave years off the term. Imagine paying off your home years early, saving tens of thousands in interest, all by tweaking how you make your mortgage payments. In the Automatic Millionaire Homeowner, David Bach unveils lesson number 4. Bi-weekly payments save big. This simple strategy, paying half your mortgage every 2 weeks instead of monthly, can transform your financial future, slashing debt and building wealth faster. Let's travel back to the 1970s, where John and Lucy Martin, now homeowners in Walnut Creek, California, took a bold step. After buying their first $30,000 home, they stretched to purchase a second, a $100,000 house with a pool, while keeping the first as a rental. With John's modest military income, paying off this new mortgage felt like a marathon. But their mortgage advisor introduced a game changer, a bi-weekly payment plan. By paying half their monthly mortgage every 2 weeks, they'd make 26 half payments a year, equivalent to 13 full payments, not 12. This small shift, Bach explains, is like adding an extra payment annually, and the Martins were about to see its power. Bach breaks down the math. For a $200,000 mortgage at 6% interest over 30 years, a standard monthly payment is about $1,200. Switch to bi-weekly payments of $600 every 2 weeks, and you pay $15,600 a year instead of $14,400. That extra $1,200 goes straight to the principal, reducing interest over time. The result? You save $106,000 in interest and cut 7 years off the loan. In 2005, when median home prices hit $220,000, this strategy was a lifeline for homeowners looking to own their homes outright sooner. The Martins embraced it, automating their bi-weekly payments to ensure consistency. The rental income from their first home, also automated, helped cover these payments, making the process seamless. The impact on the Martins was profound. Their $100,000 home, paid off years early, was worth $500,000 by the time their kids were in college. They sold it for $650,000, using the proceeds to buy a $750,000 golf course mansion. Later, they sold that for $2 million, pocketing $500,000 tax-free. Now retired in Arizona, they own a golf course home and a 4-unit apartment building generating $90,000 a year. The bi-weekly strategy wasn't just about savings. It accelerated their equity growth, letting them leverage their homes into a real estate empire. Automation takes out the discipline, Bach writes, and the Martins' bi-weekly plan proved it. Bach shares another example, a teacher who bought a modest condo. Strapped for cash, she automated bi-weekly payments, shaving years off her mortgage. The savings allowed her to use her home's equity to buy rental properties, with tenants' rent covering those mortgages. Her wealth grew not from extra effort, but from the bi-weekly system working quietly in the background. Bach himself used this strategy, buying 3 homes and boosting his net worth by $1 million in a decade. By automating bi-weekly payments, he ensured his mortgages shrank faster, freeing up capital for more investments. Why do bi-weekly payments save so much? Bach explains, early in a mortgage, most of your payment goes to interest, not principal. Extra payments, like those from a bi-weekly plan, hit the principal directly, reducing the balance on which interest is calculated. Over time, this compounds, slashing total interest. In 2005, with homeownership booming, Bach urged readers to adopt this automatic approach. Set it and forget it, and your mortgage shrinks while you live your life. In 2025, bi-weekly payments are still a powerhouse. Most lenders offer this option, and online banking makes setup a breeze. Even with higher home prices, the principal holds. Small, automated payments yield big savings. The Martins started with a modest home and a simple plan, and so can you. Bach's challenge rings true. Your life is short. Live it rich. By making bi-weekly payments your secret weapon, you'll own your home faster and build wealth like never before. Lesson number 5. You don't need perfect finances. Low down payment programs and flexible loans make homeownership possible even with bad credit or debt. Picture yourself dreaming of a home but held back by a less-than-perfect credit score or a thin savings account. In the Automatic Millionaire Homeowner, David Bach delivers lesson number 5. You don't need perfect finances. Homeownership, he insists, is within reach for almost anyone, no matter your financial past. With the right strategies and programs, you can turn your rent payments into a mortgage and start building wealth. Let's rewind to the 1960s, where John and Lucy Martin, a young couple on a military base in Oakland, California, faced a familiar struggle. John's modest military income barely covered their needs, and their savings were slim. Lucy, tired of renting, wanted a home, but their finances weren't perfect. No hefty bank account, no stellar credit. Yet, they didn't let that stop them. By automating small savings from their budget, redirecting car payment funds, they scraped together a down payment for a $30,000 house in Walnut Creek. That imperfect start, Bach writes, launched them toward millions. Bach's message is empowering. You don't need a big salary or spotless credit to own a home. In 2005, when median home prices hit $220,000, he debunked the myth that a 20% down payment is required. Programs like FHA loans need just 3 to 5% down, and VA loans for veterans often require nothing. Some banks even offered 100% financing. Bach also highlights first-time buyer programs, which allow mortgage payments equal to your current rent. For renters used to paying landlords, this is a game changer. No perfect finances needed, just a willingness to act. The Martin story shows this in action. Their $30,000 home wasn't a dream house, but it was affordable with a low down payment. Despite their modest means, they qualified for a mortgage, thanks to flexible lending options. Over time, that home's value soared to nearly $1 million, renting for $3,000 a month. They used its equity to buy a $100,000 second home, then a $750,000 golf course mansion, eventually selling it for $2 million. Now retired in Arizona with a 4-unit apartment building generating $90,000 a year, their imperfect finances didn't hold them back. They started small and leveraged homeownership's power. Bach shares another example, a teacher with credit card debt and a tight budget. She thought homeownership was out of reach, but a mortgage advisor helped her improve her credit score by disputing errors and paying down high-interest debt. Using an FHA loan with a 3% down payment, she bought a condo, automating savings to cover it. That condo's equity later funded rental properties, building her wealth. Bach himself faced financial hurdles early on, yet he bought 3 homes, boosting his net worth by $1 million in a decade. Bad credit or debt doesn't disqualify you. Bach writes, just take steps to improve and explore options. How do you start? Bach suggests checking your credit report, fixing errors, and working with a trusted mortgage advisor, found through referrals or the National Association of Mortgage Brokers. His latte factor, skipping a $10 daily expense like coffee, saves $3,650 a year. Automate that into a home savings account, and even modest earners can amass a down payment. In 2005, Bach saw these strategies open doors for millions during a real estate boom. He urged renters to act, knowing rent payments could become mortgage payments with the right plan. In 2025, homeownership remains accessible despite higher prices. FHA and VA loans still exist, and many lenders offer low down payment options. Online tools make credit monitoring and savings automation easier than ever. The Martins, the teacher, and Bach all started with imperfect finances, proving you don't need a perfect situation, just a plan. Bach's challenge echoes, your life is short. Live it rich. Take one step today, check your credit or set up a savings transfer, and your homeownership journey begins. Lesson number 6. Start small, dream big. Your first home doesn't need to be perfect. It's a stepping stone to your dream home, as the Martins showed. Imagine turning a modest first home into a stepping stone for your dream life, a mansion, financial freedom, or a legacy of wealth. In the Automatic Millionaire Homeowner, David Bach shares lesson number 6. Start small, dream big. You don't need a perfect house or a big budget to begin. A humble start can lead to extraordinary outcomes. With the right mindset and strategy, your first home becomes the foundation for your biggest dreams. Let's step into the 1960s, where John and Lucy Martin, a young couple on a military base in Oakland, California, dared to dream. With John's modest military income, they were renters with little savings, far from the millionaires they'd become. Lucy, determined to own a home, pushed them to save by cutting small expenses, like car payments. After 2 years, they bought a $30,000 house in Walnut Creek, a fixer-upper in a less-than-ideal area. It wasn't their dream home, but their realtor's wisdom stuck. Your first house helps you get your dream house. That small start, Bach writes, was the key to their massive success. Bach's lesson is clear. Your first home doesn't need to be perfect, just possible. In 2005, with median home prices at $220,000, he urged readers to start where they were. Programs like FHA loans, requiring just 3 to 5% down, or VA loans with no down payment, made it feasible. The goal? Get into the market, build equity, and let appreciation work its magic. From 1975 to 2005, a $100,000 home grew to over $400,000 at 6% annual appreciation. Starting small means buying what you can afford now, a condo, a starter home, and using it to climb toward your dream. The Martins lived this principle. Their $30,000 home, though modest, appreciated to nearly $1 million by 2005, generating $3,000 monthly rent. They didn't stop there. Keeping it as a rental, they bought a $100,000 second home with a pool, a step closer to their dreams. By automating biweekly payments, they paid it off early, and its value hit $500,000. They sold it for $650,000, then bought a $750,000 golf course mansion, their true dream home. Later, they sold it for $2 million, pocketing $500,000 tax-free. Now retired in Arizona, they own a golf course home and a 4-unit apartment building producing $90,000 a year. Their small start in Walnut Creek fueled a multi-million-dollar portfolio. Bach shares another example, a teacher who began with a condo, affordable on her modest salary. It wasn't luxurious, but it was hers. As its value grew, she used the equity to buy 3 rental properties, creating passive income. Her small start led to financial independence. Bach himself followed this path, starting with a single home and building a $1 million net worth through 3 properties in a decade. You don't buy your dream house first, he writes, but your first house gets you there. These stories show that starting small, within your means, unlocks big possibilities. Why does starting small work? Bach explains, a modest home builds equity and appreciates, giving you leverage to trade up or invest. Tax breaks, like deductible mortgage interest and up to $500,000 in tax-free profits, amplify your gains. In 2005, Bach saw a real estate boom as a chance for anyone to start, even with imperfect finances. He advised buying single-family homes over condos for better appreciation, researching neighborhoods, and avoiding overextension to keep dreams within reach. In 2025, starting small remains powerful. Home prices are higher, but low down payment programs still exist, and automation makes saving easier. The Martins began with a $30,000 fixer-upper. You might start with a condo or a starter home. Bach's challenge is timeless. Your life is short. Live it rich. Dream big, but take that first small step today. Research a loan, save automatically, or visit an open house. Your dream home is waiting. Lesson number 7. Time in the market matters. Hold properties for at least 7 years to ride out market cycles, as appreciation drives long-term wealth. Imagine planting a seed today that grows into a towering tree of wealth over time. In the Automatic Millionaire Homeowner, David Bach shares lesson number 7. Time in the market matters. Forget trying to time the real estate market. Buying a home and holding it for the long haul is the key to building riches. With patience, your home's value can soar, turning modest beginnings into millions. Let's travel to the 1960s, where John and Lucy Martin, a young couple on a military base in Oakland, California, took their first step. With John's modest military income, they bought a $30,000 fixer-upper in Walnut Creek, a small home in an up-and-coming area. It wasn't perfect, but they followed their realtor's advice. Your first house helps you get your dream house. They didn't know it then, but their decision to buy and hold would make them millionaires. Bach writes that their story shows the magic of time in the market. Bach's lesson is rooted in a simple truth. Real estate wealth comes from holding properties through market cycles. In 2005, with median home prices at $220,000, he cited data showing a $100,000 home in 1975 grew to over $400,000 by 2005 at 6% annual appreciation. But markets aren't always smooth. Recalling the 1980s California crash, Bach advises holding homes for at least 7 years to ride out dips. Time cures all, he says. By staying in the market, you benefit from long-term appreciation, equity growth, and tax breaks, like up to $500,000 in tax-free profits for couples selling their primary residence. The Martins lived this principle. They held their $30,000 home, which by 2005 was worth nearly $1 million, generating $3,000 monthly rent. Instead of flipping it, they kept it as a rental and bought a $100,000 second home. Automating bi-weekly payments, they paid it off early, and by the time their kids were in college, it was worth $500,000. They sold it for $650,000, then bought a $750,000 golf course mansion, holding it until it sold for $2 million, yielding $500,000 tax-free. Now retired in Arizona, they own a 4-unit apartment building producing $90,000 a year. Their wealth wasn't from market timing, but from decades in the market, letting time work its magic. Bach shares another example, a teacher who bought a modest condo. She didn't sell when prices dipped. Instead, she held on, watching its value grow. Over time, she used its equity to buy 3 rental properties, creating passive income. Her patience paid off, turning a small start into financial independence. Bach himself practiced this, buying 3 homes and holding them to boost his net worth by $1 million in a decade. Wealth comes from time in the market, not timing the market, he writes, urging readers to stay committed through ups and downs. In 2005, amid fears of a housing bubble, Bach offered strategies to stay resilient. Ensure you can afford your mortgage, lock in fixed rates, and monitor local trends. By holding for 7 years or more, you weather cycles like the 2000 to 2002 stock market crash that lost $6.9 trillion, while homes kept appreciating. The Martins' first home, bought in the 1960s, survived multiple recessions to reach $1 million. Time smoothed out the bumps, proving Bach's point. In 2025, with higher home prices, time in the market is still crucial. Low down payment programs like FHA loans help you start, and automation ensures steady payments. The Martins held their $30,000 home for decades. You might hold a starter home or condo for 7 years. Bach's challenge remains. Your life is short. Live it rich. Buy now, stay patient, and let time build your wealth. Take one step today, research a home or meet a realtor, and plant your seed for the future. Lesson number 8. Bubble-proof your plan. Afford your mortgage, lock in rates, monitor local trends, and avoid flipping to protect against downturns. Imagine owning a home that not only builds wealth, but also weathers the storms of market crashes and economic uncertainty. In the Automatic Millionaire Homeowner, David Bach delivers lesson number 8. Bubble-proof your plan. Written in 2005 amid fears of a housing bubble, Bach shares 5 strategies to protect your real estate investments, ensuring your financial future stays secure. Let's revisit the 1960s, where John and Lucy Martin, a young couple on a military base in Oakland, California, bought their first $30,000 home in Walnut Creek. With John's modest income, they couldn't afford to take risks. Over decades, they faced market ups and downs, including the 1980s California real estate crash. Yet, by 2005, their home was worth nearly $1 million, generating $3,000 monthly rent. How did they thrive through uncertainty? Bach says they bubble-proofed their plan, and their story shows us how. In 2005, with median home prices at $220,000 and talk of a bubble looming, Bach drew on the 1980s crash to offer 5 ways to stay safe. First, afford your mortgage. Avoid risky loans like zero down or interest only without a savings cushion. Lock in fixed rates or refinance adjustable loans to prevent payment spikes. Second, think local. Monitor your neighborhood's market by reading real estate sections and visiting open houses. Third, get the facts. Ask realtors about inventory, prices, and time on market for homes like yours. Fourth, avoid flipping. Don't buy condos or homes to flip in hot markets. Focus on long-term investments with positive cash flow. Fifth, time cures all. Hold properties for at least 7 years to ride out cycles, as markets recover over time. The Martins applied these principles instinctively. They ensured their $30,000 home's mortgage was affordable, using rental income from it to cover their second $100,000 home's payments. They thought locally, choosing Walnut Creek for its growth potential, and got the facts by working with a trusted realtor. They avoided flipping, holding their first home as a rental instead. By staying in the market for decades, they saw it appreciate to $1 million. Their second home sold for $650,000, and their $750,000 golf course mansion sold for $2 million, benefited from long-term holding, yielding $500,000 tax-free. Now in Arizona with a 4-unit apartment building generating $90,000 yearly, their bubble-proof plan ensured wealth through cycles. Bach shares another example, a teacher who bought a condo during a hot market. Instead of flipping, she held it for 7 years, avoiding the temptation to cash out early. Her patience paid off as its value grew, allowing her to buy 3 rental properties with stable cash flow. Bach himself bubble-proofed his plan, buying 3 homes and holding them through market fluctuations, boosting his net worth by $1 million in a decade. Wealth comes from time in the market, not timing it, he writes, urging homeowners to stay disciplined. Bach's strategies were critical in 2005, when the 2000 to 2002 stock market crash, which lost $6.9 trillion, made real estate a safer bet. He advised against over-leveraging, citing the 1980s crash when affordability saved homeowners. The Martins' modest start and long-term focus kept them secure. Their rental income provided a buffer, and fixed-rate mortgages protected against rate hikes. By researching local trends, they invested wisely, ensuring cash flow and growth. In 2025, bubble-proofing is still vital. Home prices are higher, but affordable mortgages and fixed rates are available. Online tools make local market research easy, and low-down payment programs like FHA loans help you start. The Martins didn't chase quick profits. They built wealth patiently. Bach's challenge rings true. Your life is short. Live it rich. Bubble-proof your plan today. Check your mortgage terms, research your market, or commit to a 7-year hold and secure your future. Lesson number 9. Rentals amplify wealth. Use home equity to buy rental properties, creating passive income and accelerating financial independence. Imagine your home not just as a place to live, but as a springboard to a portfolio of properties that pay you month after month, year after year. In the Automatic Millionaire Homeowner, David Bach shares lesson number 9. Rentals amplify wealth. By using the equity from your primary home to invest in rental properties, you create streams of passive income that accelerate your path to financial freedom. Let's go back to the 1960s, where John and Lucy Martin, a young couple on a military base in Oakland, California, bought their first $30,000 home in Walnut Creek. It was a modest start, but their vision grew. Rather than selling that home when they upgraded, they kept it as a rental. By 2005, that $30,000 property was worth nearly $1 million, generating $3,000 a month in rent. Bach writes that this decision to invest in rentals was the key to their multi-million-dollar fortune, proving rentals can transform wealth. Bach's strategy is simple. Live in your home, pay down the mortgage, build equity, and use that equity to buy rental properties. The rent from tenants covers those mortgages, creating passive income. Over time, appreciation and rising rents amplify your wealth. In 2005, with median home prices at $220,000, Bach saw rentals as a golden opportunity. Unlike stocks, which crashed $6.9 trillion from 2000 to 2002, rental properties offer steady cash flow and long-term growth. He advises buying single-family homes or small multi-unit buildings, like duplexes or fourplexes, for reliable returns over condos, which often have high fees. The Martins mastered this. After their $30,000 home, they used its equity to buy a $100,000 second home with a pool, keeping the first as a rental. The rent covered their new mortgage, and by automating bi-weekly payments, they paid it off early. That home's value hit $500,000, and they sold it for $650,000, buying a $750,000 golf course mansion. They later sold it for $2 million, pocketing $500,000 tax-free. Now retired in Arizona, they own a 4-unit apartment building generating $90,000 a year. The rental income from their first home and later properties fueled their empire, amplifying their wealth far beyond their modest military income. Bach shares another example, a teacher who started with a condo. As its equity grew, she borrowed against it to buy a duplex, then 2 more rental properties. The tenants' rent covered her mortgages, and the properties appreciated, creating a cycle of wealth. Her rentals didn't just pay for themselves, they funded her financial independence. Bach himself followed suit, buying 3 homes and using rental income to boost his net worth by $1 million in a decade. Rentals are like planting money trees, he writes, growing steadily with time. Why do rentals amplify wealth? Bach explains, they leverage your home's equity, letting you control more assets with less cash. Tax breaks, like deductible mortgage interest, reduce costs, while appreciation, from $100,000 to over $400,000 for a home from 1975 to 2005, multiplies value. Rental income provides cash flow, unlike stocks, which offer no immediate return. In 2005, Bach urged readers to act, using programs like FHA loans, 3 to 5% down, to start. He advised researching neighborhoods for rental demand and ensuring cash flow covers expenses, creating a self-sustaining system. In 2025, rentals remain a powerful tool. Higher home prices make starting tougher, but low down payment loans and automation ease the way. Online platforms simplify finding tenants and managing properties. The Martins turned a $30,000 home into a rental empire. You might start with a duplex or a single rental unit. Bach's challenge echoes, your life is short. Live it rich. Take one step today, research a rental market or meet a realtor, and plant your first money tree. Lesson number 10. Give back to build meaning. Help others become homeowners through charities like Habitat for Humanity, enriching your life and others. Imagine a wealth that goes beyond dollars, a legacy of purpose, community, and lives changed. In the Automatic Millionaire Homeowner, David Bach shares lesson number 10, give back to build meaning. Homeownership isn't just about personal gain. It's about helping others find the same security and opportunity. By supporting housing charities or sharing knowledge, you create a ripple effect of prosperity. Let's return to John and Lucy Martin, whose homeownership journey began in the 1960s with a $30,000 fixer-upper in Walnut Creek, California. By 2005, their modest start had grown into a multi-million-dollar portfolio, including a 4-unit apartment building generating $90,000 a year. But their wealth wasn't just financial. Inspired by their success, they shared their story with Bach during a book tour, hoping to motivate others. Lucy, once a renter dreaming of ownership, became a beacon for friends and family, urging them to buy homes. Bach writes that their generosity, giving knowledge and encouragement, added meaning to their riches. Bach's final lesson is a call to action. Help others become homeowners. In 2005, with median home prices at $220,000, he saw homeownership as a cornerstone of strong communities. He urged readers to support organizations like Habitat for Humanity, which builds homes for low-income families, or the Corporation for Supportive Housing, aiding the homeless. Bach led by example, donating $50,000 to Habitat for Humanity and pledging his 2006 royalties. He also launched the Great American Homeowner Challenge, aiming to inspire 10 million new homeowners in a decade. Giving back, he writes, makes your wealth feel worthwhile. The Martins embodied this spirit. After building their wealth, they mentored others, sharing tips on low down payment loans like FHA, 3 to 5% down, and automating savings. Their first home, now worth $1 million and rented for $3,000 a month, inspired their kids to buy homes early. By teaching others to leverage equity, as they did to buy their $100,000 second home and $750,000 golf course mansion, sold for $2 million, they spread opportunity. Their giving back wasn't just financial. It was a gift of empowerment, showing that anyone could start small and dream big. Bach shares another example, a teacher who, after buying a condo and 3 rentals, volunteered with a housing charity. She taught first-time buyers how to save for a down payment using Bach's latte factor, skipping a $10 daily expense to save $3,650 a year. Her efforts helped a single mother afford a home, changing her family's future. Bach himself gave back through his website, finishRich.com, offering free audio programs to demystify home buying. His actions showed that giving, whether time, money, or knowledge, multiplies the impact of wealth. Why does giving back matter? Bach explains, homeownership stabilizes families and neighborhoods, reducing poverty and building equity. In 2003, homeowners had a net worth of $172,000, 34 times renters' $5,000. By helping others own homes, you create a cycle of prosperity. In 2005, Bach saw this as urgent, with real estate booming after the 2000 to 2002 stock market crash that lost $6.9 trillion. He encouraged automating donations to charities, just like mortgage payments, to make giving effortless and impactful. In 2025, giving back is more vital than ever. Higher home prices make ownership tougher, but charities like Habitat for Humanity and low down payment loans keep the dream alive. Online platforms make volunteering or donating easier, and sharing Bach's book with a renter friend can spark change. The Martins gave knowledge, the teacher gave time, Bach gave resources. You can too. Bach's challenge endures. Your life is short. Live it rich. Give back today. Donate, volunteer, or share a tip, and build a legacy of meaning. Recap summary of The Automatic Millionaire Homeowner by David Bach. Imagine turning the place you live into a wealth-building machine, creating a path to financial independence, and retiring rich, all through the power of homeownership. In the next hour, we'll take a deep dive into Bach's simple, actionable system to transform renters into homeowners and homeowners into millionaires automatically. Whether you're paying rent, buying your first home, or looking to grow your real estate portfolio, this book is your guide to finishing rich. Let's begin. David Bach opens with a bold promise. The smartest investment you'll ever make is a home. Written in 2005, The Automatic Millionaire Homeowner builds on Bach's best-selling The Automatic Millionaire, which taught readers to build wealth by automating savings. Here, he focuses on real estate, arguing that homeownership is the cornerstone of financial security. Bach's mission is to guide you from renting to owning, and from owning one home to leveraging it to build a fortune, all with minimal effort through automation. The backdrop is the early 2000s real estate boom. After the stock market crash of 2000 to 2002, which wiped out $6.9 trillion, Americans turned to real estate. Home prices soared. By August 2005, the median U.S. home price hit $220,000, up 55% in 5 years. Some markets, like San Francisco and Miami, doubled in value. Bach sees this as a historic opportunity, but his message transcends market cycles. Nothing you will ever do in your lifetime is likely to make you as much money as buying a home and living in it. Why? Because as long as you're alive, you have to live somewhere. Why not let your home make you rich? Chapter 1. Meeting the Automatic Millionaire Homeowner. Bach introduces us to John and Lucy Martin, the epitome of automatic millionaire homeowners. In their 60s, fit and retired, they shared their story with Bach during a book tour in San Jose. The Martins weren't high earners. John was in the military, and their income was modest. Yet, they retired with over $3 million in real estate wealth. How? Through strategic homeownership. Their journey began in their late 20s, living on a military base in Oakland. Lucy insisted they save for a home, redirecting car payment funds into a savings account. After 2 years, they bought a $30,000 house in Walnut Creek, a less-than-ideal area but affordable. It wasn't their dream home, but their realtor's wisdom stuck. You don't buy your dream house first, but your first house helps you get there. That house, now worth nearly $1 million, is rented for $3,000 a month. Their second home, a $100,000 house with a pool, was a stretch but manageable. They kept their first home as a rental, using its income to pay down the new mortgage faster with a bi-weekly payment plan, saving thousands in interest. By the time their kids were in college, this home was worth $500,000. They sold it for $650,000 and bought a $750,000 dream house on a golf course, later selling it for $2 million, pocketing $500,000 tax-free due to 1997 tax law changes. They now live in Arizona, owning a golf course home and a 4-unit apartment building generating $90,000 annually. The Martins' secret? They didn't overextend, automated savings and payments, and thought long-term. Lucy's mindset shift, from thinking poor to embracing ownership, was pivotal. Their story inspired Bach to buy 3 homes, boosting his net worth by $1 million in a decade. Chapter 2. Why Smart Homeowners Finish Rich. Why is homeownership so powerful? Bach outlines 4 advantages. First, leverage. A small down payment controls a valuable asset. A 10% down payment on a $200,000 home lets you benefit from its full appreciation. Second, tax benefits. Mortgage interest is deductible, and up to $500,000 in profits for couples from selling a primary residence is tax-free. Third, forced savings. Mortgage payments build equity, unlike rent, which vanishes. Fourth, appreciation. Home values typically rise over time. From 1975 to 2005, a $100,000 home grew to over $400,000 at 6% annual appreciation. Bach contrasts this with renting. In 2003, the average renter's net worth was under $5,000, while the average homeowner's was $172,000, 34 times higher. Renting, he argues, traps you in a cycle of paying someone else's mortgage. Homeowners get rich, renters stay poor, he declares, urging renters to act. Chapter 3. The Automatic Down Payment Solution. The biggest hurdle for first-time buyers is the down payment. Bach debunks the myth that you need 20% down, highlighting programs like FHA and VA loans requiring as little as 3 to 5%. To save, he revisits his latte factor from the Automatic Millionaire. Skipping a $3.50 latte daily saves $1,277 a year. $10 a day saves $3,650. Automate transfers to a home savings account to make it effortless. Bach also suggests piggyback loans to avoid private mortgage insurance and, cautiously, borrowing from retirement accounts. Even with credit card debt or poor credit, homeownership is possible. Bach encourages starting now, automating savings, and exploring first-time buyer programs, which often allow mortgage payments equal to current rent. Chapter 4. How to find a mortgage advisor you can trust. A trusted mortgage advisor is crucial. Bach advises seeking someone experienced, transparent, and client-focused, ideally through referrals from friends or the National Association of Mortgage Brokers. They'll guide you through loan options and help improve your credit score, which impacts interest rates. Bach suggests checking your credit report, disputing errors, and paying down high-interest debt to boost your score before applying. Chapter 5. The Automatic Millionaire Homeowner Right-Fit Mortgage Plan. Choosing the right mortgage is key. Bach compares fixed-rate mortgages, stable payments, to adjustable-rate mortgages, lower initial rates, riskier if rates rise. He also discusses interest-only loans, warning of their risks. His top tip? Make mortgage payments automatic via autopay to ensure consistency and build equity. Even better, use a bi-weekly payment plan. Paying half your mortgage every 2 weeks results in 13 full payments a year, not 12, potentially saving $106,000 on a $200,000 loan at 6% and cutting 7 years off the term. Chapter 6. How to get the best deal on your mortgage. Bach empowers readers to negotiate. Shop multiple lenders, compare loan estimates, and negotiate fees. Lock in a rate to protect against fluctuations, and work with your advisor to find discounts or programs. Don't accept the first offer, Bach insists. Fight for your money. Chapter 7. Find yourself a home the smart way. Finding the right home requires strategy. Work with a knowledgeable realtor, define must-haves, e.g., location, and nice-to-haves, e.g., a garage, and research neighborhoods for appreciation potential and amenities. Bach advises against buying at the top of your budget to leave room for repairs or taxes. He cautions against condos as investments due to high fees and restrictions, favoring single-family homes or small multi-unit properties. Chapter 8. How to hire a great real estate coach. A real estate coach, often a seasoned realtor, guides you through buying and beyond. Find one with a strong track record via referrals or professional networks. They should educate, not just sell, helping with offers, inspections, and long-term planning. Bach emphasizes their role in demystifying the process, making homeownership less intimidating. Chapter 9. Make your mortgage automatic and save $106,000 on your home. This chapter reinforces automation. Bach details how biweekly payments accelerate mortgage payoff, saving significant interest. He also suggests adding extra payments annually, like from bonuses, to further reduce principal. Automation removes discipline, ensuring steady progress toward debt freedom and wealth. Chapter 10. From ordinary homeowner to automatic millionaire homeowner. Bach's ultimate goal is to transform homeowners into millionaires. The strategy? Live in your home, pay down the mortgage, build equity, then use that equity to buy rental properties. Rental income covers those mortgages, creating passive income. Over time, appreciation and rents build wealth. Bach shares success stories, like a teacher who started with a condo and now owns 3 rentals, proving ordinary earners can succeed with patience and automation. Chapter 11. How to bubble-proof your real estate plan. Written in 2005, this chapter addresses fears of a housing bubble. Bach, reflecting on the 1980s California crash, offers 5 ways to protect yourself. 1. Afford your mortgage. Avoid zero-down or interest-only loans without a savings cushion. Lock in fixed rates or refinance adjustables. 2. Think local. Monitor your neighborhood's market by reading real estate sections, driving around, and visiting open houses. 3. Get the facts. Ask realtors about inventory, prices, and time on market for homes like yours. 4. Avoid flipping. Don't buy condos or homes to flip in hot markets. Focus on long-term investments with positive cash flow. 5. Time cures all. Hold properties for at least 7 years to ride out cycles, as markets recover over time. Bach stresses that wealth comes from time in the market, not timing it, encouraging a disciplined, long-term approach. Chapter 12. Make a difference. Help someone else become a homeowner. Bach ends with a call to give back. Homeownership builds personal wealth and strengthens communities. He suggests supporting organizations like Habitat for Humanity, which builds homes for low-income families, or the Corporation for Supportive Housing, aiding the homeless. Volunteer your time or automate donations for maximum impact. Bach himself donated $50,000 to Habitat for Humanity and pledged 2006 royalties, underscoring his commitment. He also launched the Great American Homeowner Challenge to inspire 10 million people to buy homes over a decade, inviting readers to join. Conclusion: the enduring power of homeownership. The Automatic Millionaire Homeowner is a blueprint for financial independence through real estate. Bach's system: buy a home, automate payments, build equity, and invest in rentals, is simple yet profound. His emphasis on automation eliminates the need for ironclad discipline, making wealth accessible to anyone. The Martin story, alongside Bach's own $1 million gain, proves that ordinary people can achieve extraordinary results with a long-term mindset. The book's strengths are its clarity and motivation. Bach demystifies home buying, offering step-by-step action plans and resources, like FinishRich.com's free audio program. His enthusiasm is contagious, convincing readers that home ownership is within reach, even with modest means or imperfect credit. The focus on giving back adds depth, aligning wealth with purpose. However, the book reflects its 2005 context. Written before the 2008 housing crash, it underestimates risks like over-leveraging or maintenance costs. Advice to buy with bad credit or no down payment feels dated post-crash. Bach's optimism about endless appreciation overlooks today's affordability challenges, with median home prices far exceeding 2005 levels. Still, his core principles, leverage, tax benefits, and time in the market, remain timeless, especially for long-term investors. In 2025, homeownership is tougher but not impossible. Low down payment programs exist, and automation remains a powerful tool. Bach's message resonates. As long as you're alive, you have to live somewhere. For renters, first-time buyers, or homeowners, this book is a rallying cry to act. Share it with a friend, join a housing charity, or start your journey today. As Bach says, your life is short. Live it rich. Thank you for exploring the Automatic Millionaire Homeowner with us. Visit FinishRich.com for free resources or pick up the book for detailed action steps. Until next time, make your wealth automatic and live rich.